Hey everybody, I'm Riley.
And I'm Todd, and welcome to this week's episode of Barber Cuts, where we are talking about Hotel California by the Eagles. So from 1976, and
Ooh,
we, ooh, what?
I didn't realize it didn't hit me that it was that old. Because
Old? Yes, I am older. Ooh.
sorry.
And so also, welcome to any new people that are joining us after our jaunt that's how the French say it, a jaunt to Nashville. So hello to our EduCalls people that uh, maybe joining in. Here we are talking about the Eagles Hotel California. Riley, what are your least favorite songs?
Um, so I'm a little concerned that our least favorite and favorites are gonna flip a little bit, or our opinions are gonna flip a little bit.
Uh-oh.
It's like it's a toss-up. And the reason why I dislike them is why I think it's a toss-up, but you could interpret them a different way.
Okay.
So my two least favorites really were Life in the Fast Lane and Victim of Love.
Okay.
Um, at first they were fine, but with like the rest of this music, they do stick out. Which makes sense. Like I understand that this album was kind of a pretty big transition between like their older acoustic rock to a more electric rock. They brought in a new guitarist and like those were kind of his songs introducing himself.
Yeah.
But I liked the acoustic and piano and kind of ballads that they were making um on the rest of them, and these were a little bit, like I said, harder. The reason I think I was thinking we might disagree is because Victim of Love kind of reminded me of a Fleetwood Mac song. And that's why I wasn't like a huge fan of it because it had that poppy rock feel.
Yeah.
Um, I will also say, and we can talk more about it again. Victim of Love was one of the few love songs on this album, or songs dealing with a topic to do with like love or relationship, like love relationships, girlfriend, boyfriend,
hmm
whatever. Um, and it was the worst of the ones that were about love. And so when you have an album that's such a heavy concept, like not that the album is a concept album, but each song is like a fully developed story,
Yeah.
to have one song that's like kind of a generic song,
Yeah.
it really falls apart.
Yeah.
And
I
then
can't
Life in the
remember
Fast
who it
Lane
was.
was,
Maybe it was Don Henley, that said this album was in fact a concept album and talked about what the concept was. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't get that.
yeah, so I
Because
understand.
it was like
I
a concept of covering the following themes, and he listed like nine themes, and there's nine songs, and I'm like, that's just an album.
that's
But
my opinion of
anyway,
it. I
I didn't delve too far into
Yeah, no.
why he called it a concept album, other than sometimes they're obvious, and sometimes maybe they're not, but maybe that's just
Yeah.
because I don't know
That's
what
my
I'm looking
opinion of
for
it.
of a concept.
I think that each song is kind of a fully realized story in of itself. And I think if you try to make it a concept album, it actually makes the album a little bit weaker. Just because if you take each song for what it is, like each song is pretty darn realized in what it is. But if you try to make it all a story, it gets a little confusing or blocky when you start with a song called about if you start with a song like Hotel California that has a very specific story and then try to blend that story in with other places, it can sometimes hurt it. I
Yeah,
can see why he would think it's a concept album or why he would claim it as a concept album because these were all um like I said, there's only three songs really that talk about like relationships
yeah,
or love type relationships.
yeah,
And even one of those is like iffy on if it's love or friendship or it could be all different things. So that in itself kind of makes it a concept album, just that
yeah.
they're like at this time, I guess you have examples like Pink Floyd and stuff like that that were starting to like do commentary music, but this was
Right.
one that like they were very much making a commentary on things,
Yeah.
and that might be why he
The
said it was a
the
concept, but
quote, I just went and got it because I knew right where it was. It was still on my screen. Um, the basically talking about it was released in a bicentennial year, and basically he said we want people to wake up and say we've been okay so far for 200 years, but we're gonna have to change if we're gonna continue to be around.
yeah,
So
so
evidently that was the concept that it was all
which
built around,
that
which
I will say is very, to me as a lyric person, very clear. There,
yes,
oh,
yes. I think
almost
you
every
definitely
song
see
is
it
talking
in the
about.
lyrics, and Henley was a
Oh
big
yeah.
lyrical person, so that made
You
sense for him
also
to see that and for it to come through.
you also do
So
see it in the instrumentals, which is really cool. So we can talk
yes,
about that more later, but
yes.
for now we can talk about your least favorite songs.
So my least favorites, which I did not have. So spoiler alert, did not have your two as favorites. Um,
Okay.
so
I didn't
my
think you would. I just thought
yeah,
they would be higher up than what I had.
yeah, they are. So my second least favorite was Try and Love Again. And I actually put on here, I've got no real reasons why, just one of them that I didn't go back to as much as I did others, but I actually like this song, which leads me to my least favorite song, and it's the only one on the album that I didn't really care for. Do you want to guess? Awkward pause
No.
for music that I'll have to cut out.
I don't know.
The Pretty Maids All in a Row. That one just
Okay.
it had the slow intro that took, I mean,
That makes sense now.
I'm gonna exaggerate. It took like 3 minutes before you heard any note, but you could see the little progress bar going. I mean, it took a while to get to music. Um,
Yeah.
Although inside of there, it does have a little decent little guitar solo somewhere in there. So that was slightly redeeming. Um, but that was the only one that I really didn't care for. So, oh,
Sorry. I accidentally I usually
started
keep
playing
it
music.
yeah, I usually keep the list up on my phone because like seeing it on Spotify helps me remember the song. If I can't
Yeah,
remember like the beginning, I'll click it and listen to it kind of quietly.
yeah.
But my volume was all the way up.
Well,
So,
that's Spotify's notes on one screen, Spotify on the other, and Zoom on another.
yeah, it helps.
Well, it's
What I
only
was
two
gonna
screens,
say
but
what I was gonna say is I felt like you a little bit in this album or with this album because there are a few parts that and Life in the Fast Lane was my example, and that's what you just heard. I don't know if people listening heard. Um, the beginning guitar to that is awesome.
yeah,
That's an awesome opening.
yeah,
Like I had so much hope in that song. Like and it again, I didn't hate it. I just tend to like the slower songs more. But like that, like when you get like you'll have to go look at the video. When you hear something good and you're just like, like a kind of angry face, like
yeah,
gross face.
yeah,
I did that a little bit at
yeah.
that intro, and it
That
comes out
is
of
a
nowhere after like New Kid in
yeah,
Town. I'm like, oh yeah.
that is a good intro. Yeah.
There are a few times like stuff like that. So I guess this can go into
Yeah. So favorites. So
we'll
what's your
talk about that
favorites?
later.
Yeah.
So my favorite surprise is a little actually surprising. It's the first song and the last song. So Hotel California and The Last Resort. Surprising in that that's hard to do to keep you excited enough about the album that one of the last
Yeah.
songs is still one of like your favorites.
Yeah.
Not surprising in the sense that these two are probably two of the bigger concept songs, very lyric heavy, very deep. They're written by two different people, I think. I think The Last Resort was Don Henley, I
Yeah.
think
And
that was
I
his first attempt to do a full story.
yeah, and I think he had the lyrics to Hotel California as well.
Okay. Well, then maybe I'm
He
just a
did
Henley
most of the
fan.
he did most of the lyrics. And again, he had Glenn Fry help him um, on it. And but I do believe that Henley and Fry did the lyrics, and a guy
Okay.
named Don Felder did the music.
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
these two
Don
are just
Henley and Glenn Fry. Just looked it up.
um oh my goodness. Turning the mic down. So every song, or most every song, is pretty well delved out. These two are some of the strongest. I mean, Hotel California's opening song is a lot. Everything kind of has to live up to what Hotel California is.
Yeah,
Hotel California
and that's tough.
is a masterpiece of a song.
Yes,
It
I
in
agree.
so many ways.
So
Lyrically,
yeah,
it's so interesting. It's a very interesting song, and it's a song it was very relevant at the time and is still relevant, and can be applicable today.
yeah,
It does the instrumental shifts in it to recognize those shifts. They
yep,
play around with that. They play around with different styles of music. This is the only song that they really kind of do that. I don't know if it's like reggae, like that
yeah,
type of sound.
yeah.
Um, and
I think maybe it was this
it,
song that I read that the working title before they got to it was Mexican reggae.
yeah, that's a good title for it.
Yeah,
It is so good. It draws you in. You kind of go along with the story where it feels like you're intrigued by what this Hotel California is, and
yeah,
then you realize that you're stuck there and you don't know what to do, and it becomes a
right.
little creepier, and then you go along for the ride of what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
And before you move on to your other one, this one was one of mine too. So we'll just share while we talk about this one because I think it deserves its own little section here.
oh
You know,
yeah.
as we look at or as I'm looking at Spotify right now, it's over 2 billion streams. And so that's not a lot of songs have done that. Um, and it is like everywhere that you go, it's one of the best rock songs of all time. So it's hard not to call it a favorite when you're listening to a rock album. Um, it won Record of the Year in 1977 for the Grammys. And then it ends, which again, one of my favorite parts, the solo at the end. So that doesn't happen a lot, and we pick up on songs that we would and mention them, but it's like a 2 minute guitar solo at the end, and it's really good. So I think that's Joe Walsh and Don Felder, and they're actually going back and forth with it. And again, I like it's hard to tell that it's not a single person playing the guitar just because I can't pick up when two different people start playing, but it is two people going back and forth. And in 1998, so quite a few number of years ago, readers of Guitarist magazine rated it as the best guitar solo of all time. So
Mm.
it's got some clout that goes with it too, as far as guitars go. And the song itself inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2003. And I also saw where the Eagles don't um, let people use their songs much for um, videos, movies, TV, things like that. But I did see where it's used in the end credits for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So a crossover there to some Marvel movies. But
Yeah,
it is a
the
fantastic song. And what an
and
opening song for the album.
yeah, so what's really interesting about this song to me to make it even more of its own section is so I'm not like we both of us don't we know what we like and what we don't like. We don't know so much the technical side of things. But when you look up Hotel California, so it's super successful, but it's so not conventional of what a successful song looks like.
No.
And so I'm I read this, this is not from me, but it follows the structure of instrumental verse, verse, refrain, verse, refrain, verse, and instrumental verse. So it starts and ends with
Bless you.
these solos. Starts and ends with these solos and it's a very unconventional structure of what a song is.
Yeah,
Kind of like we talked about with Prince not having a bass line, like that's very unconventional. So it's really hard to make a song that's very widely liked and as popular as it is with unconventional structures. Typically, they stick to the status quo
yeah,
of the time, and this was not even that. It also, like I mentioned earlier, switches from uh, acoustic. So the first solo is an
yep,
acoustic solo, the second one is electric, which is supposed to represent their transition as a band from a more country band that they were
yeah. They
to
were
what
more
they're now known as a rock band.
country rock. Yeah,
Um, so they were kind of like showing where they were headed to.
yeah.
But a lot of people that, from what I was reading, consider Hotel California, um, like,
The
uh,
song.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, they say the
just to make
song
sure.
is the reason the song is so unique and good is actually because of the instrumental. Even though the lyrics are incredible, the lyrics
Yeah,
are like just an add-on to how
yeah,
like incredible the music is. And so I tried to listen to it more and understand that side of things more
yeah,
on this album because it's talked about so much. But the lyrics, I mean, it's a ghost story that pulls you in.
yeah, yeah,
And it's just so entertaining. Also, the way they deliver such a lovely place, such a lovely face is
yeah,
beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah,
I love that part.
yeah. And that last line before the guitar solo kicks in is just a chilling, like, relax, said the night man. We are programmed to receive. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. I mean, it's just a chilling lyric of, in their mind,
And
what's going on with the world and this concept that they're talking about. It's just
and
so it's
it's
just such a good line that then follows that up with that intro of that, guitar, and then you're just mesmerized by this guitar for 2 minutes. Like you're not leaving.
yeah, it's just it I get chills thinking like and for the song to be about like this materialism and uh idolatry of Hollywood and like what it kind of is. Like that last line is the perfect summary of what like a
Yeah,
lot of people were experiencing with this materialism and addiction and all of that was it's very similar to the line you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. Like
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
same kind of feeling of like you can check out anytime but this is always a part of you and we've got our grip on you.
right.
But it's not like they do a good job of that being like a scary thing, a self-realizing thing, but
Yeah,
also a not scary thing. Like they make it entertaining and fun to listen to, and people sing the song without knowing how scary and dark and how much of a commentary it is,
yeah,
and
yeah, true.
just think it's a fun song, and that's the funniest part to me because they'll
Yeah.
be singing about
And
what the
that's when you know that a music or a song is good.
yeah
When that happens and tons of people love it, and for whatever reason that you can't always put your finger on exactly why it is, but yet it's everything together. And in this one, it is a little bit different. So it does draw you in. It's not the normal, you know, like you mentioned with some of the other songs, and um, it's not your normal pop song,
yeah.
makeup. It's different. It draws you in.
Um, well, now that that's I'll talk about my other favorite song.
Yeah. So, your other favorite song, The Last Resort, which is really good as
Yes.
well.
This one I think is controversial take for I think the people who know this album loosely. I think this is the real lyric song. I think
Yeah.
most people who know the album would agree with me.
Yep.
This is the full it's a full story. It knows its place. It knows exactly what it is, and it's a start to finish story.
Yeah.
Um, and it plays very well into Hotel California. It's this finding of paradise and destruction of paradise, and it does talk a little bit about
Yeah.
like the hypocrisy of people claiming paradise while destroying it, and like all of this stuff. Again, something that like is was
And then
so
moving
applicable
on
to the
to a new
time.
paradise just to destroy
Yes,
that one. Like,
which is
man, that's
so
good.
applicable of the time and is so applicable now. I mean, like we're literally talking about moving to Mars because we're depleting like Earth's resources. Like these are things that we're still like dealing with and talking about, and it's still like a huge ethical debate and problem. And so for it to be written in such perfect wording so long ago is so impressive to me.
Yeah.
Because if you told me somebody wrote this yesterday, like to address the direct problems we're having today, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
impressive, and
I
it
agree.
tells the story really well to where you can visualize it. And I think it does a good job of putting the highlight on the lyrics. It emphasizes the lyrics more than the music, where Hotel California does emphasize the music pretty
Yes.
heavily.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So my other favorite song, may be a surprise because it does go against my snoozer rule.
Is it wasted time?
It is
Okay, that was my other one. Are you
that
combining Reprise with it?
um no, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So again, it is a little bit of a surprise for me. But it's got the soft piano in the beginning, but again, and I can't remember when we've done this. And it was just in a few episodes ago where the music was so quiet that all you could hear were the lyrics. And this is one of those that is like that because it starts off with just the piano. Um, and that, we've already talked about Henley being able to, write lyrics. Best guess from what I gathered, this was about a breakup between him and a girlfriend at the time. But you can hear the pain in his voice. You can hear the lyrics, and so I got a couple of them that I'll talk about. How do you start it over? You don't know if you can. You don't care much for a stranger's touch, but you can't hold your man. So it's like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't want somebody new, but you don't want who you've got. And what a hard place to be in mentally, emotionally, and all those things that he captured with really two lines. You don't care much for a stranger's touch, but you can't hold your man. I'm like, okay, that's a really good lyric. Um, the music does pick up a little bit. It's got the guitar offer some sad sounding runs in the background as it goes. The harmonizing is really good as well behind the vocals, but yet again, this song is all about, much like The Last Resort. I mean, this song is all about the vocals.
Mhm.
And then at the end, the lyrics toward the end, sometimes to keep it together, you got to leave it alone. And I'm like, okay, that's really good too. Um, and so you asked before, do I include the reprise? And I said no, and this is why. Because on the original LP, the on the original record, Wasted Time closes side one.
Okay.
So then you flip it, put the needle down, and what do you get? The reprise. So you just finished Wasted Time, you flip the record and start it, and then you get just a beautiful song.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. and the strings of the orchestra, like, and it's got a great combination of fast moving notes. The if I remember my music lessons from a long time ago, staccato, so that dum 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 dum, and then some that are going, but then on top of that, there's these long, slow notes that are sweeping through that pull you in, and it's just a really, here on Spotify doesn't really make much sense, but on a record, when you flip it and you get that to start side two, I'm like, that's really well done, and some thought from the artist, producer, whoever did that. Like some thought really went into that, and that's the part of music and albums that I can really appreciate.
Yeah, Wasted Time was almost my favorite. Time Reprise almost got up there because of how beautiful it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like randomly changing to a little bit faster in the middle of it and then going back to
yeah, yeah,
slow. It's like,
yeah.
oh, this is crazy. And then Wasted Time, you can hear the pain in his voice. It's a little bluesy, his
Yeah,
voice,
yeah. It's got a
which I
little
really
rasp to
enjoy.
it as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah, it's a little bit
again, we figured out
thicker.
I'm a sucker for the raspy voice.
It's a little bit thicker. That's how I describe people with like
Yeah,
jazzier, bluesier voices. It's like a
yeah,
thick voice. And this one also produced one of the like disgusted faces and
yeah,
maybe an audible "ooh"
yeah, yeah,
when listening to it.
yeah,
It was and lyrics in this one were strong too. It's just a good
yeah.
song. So it
Especially
was up there for
especially
me
to
too.
me that opening lyric of
Yeah.
almost like you can hear the piano going and then just like it almost dies down a little bit and then he hits there with that, well, baby, there you stand. And that's nice. And the opening lyric for Last Resort is very good as well. Just again, the how it comes in with the piano and the softness, and then, she came from Providence. It's like, okay, where's, that's an interesting first line,
Yeah.
to hear it where it goes after that. But yet it's again those two songs. And again, I'm not normally a lyrical person, but I obviously, I can appreciate them when they're good. Um, and Wasted Time was good, and I was debating Wasted Time and Last Resort as to like, okay, which one is it? So I'm glad Last Resort got a shout because
Yeah.
it's very good.
Yes.
All right, so anything about favorites?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, why should people go and listen to Hotel California?
I think because it is such a commentary. I think that's what makes this album so interesting, is most all of the songs are a critique of something in society that they noticed and they wrote a song about that's still very applicable today. We've yet to find an answer to some of these questions that they're posing.
Yeah,
And so it's still a search. And to have these questions in a way that most everyone can understand and appreciate is a lot. Um, and I don't know if that makes sense, but like meaning like it's not like a heady conversation. It's not like an ethics conversation. It's a beautiful song that poses these questions, and is an art that makes people pay attention. I think that is a big part of why you should listen to specifically this album. The Eagles are great for a lot of other songs that aren't concept albums or songs or anything
yeah,
like that. But this album in particular, they are just asking some pretty important and deep questions and
yeah.
seeking some answers. And I don't think we've gotten to a place where we can answer them yet. And I think that makes it more the reason to go back and listen to them.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as if that wasn't enough, I'll give you some data to back it up as to why you should listen to it. It is the fourth best-selling album in the US and the sixth best selling album once you get outside of the US, you bring in more markets. But ironically, it is the second best selling album from 1976. And you know why?
Right.
Because the Eagles' Greatest Hits was released in February of 1976, and it has sold more than Hotel California. So in 1976, this is crazy. In 1976, the Eagles released two albums, and those two albums are two of the best-selling albums in history of music. That's crazy. So, you know, go listen to this one and then go grab their greatest hits album and listen to that one and you'll be like,
I
okay,
don't, yeah, I
know
don't
this
think their
one, know
greatest
this
hits
one, know
album
this
is
one
maybe.
on Spotify.
Oh, it's listed as a compilation.
Yeah. And so, the so Hotel California, it was nominated for Album of the Year in the 1977 Grammys. Lost out to another one that we haven't recorded yet. Do you know who it lost to as for best album?
Uh,
You've already mentioned
oh.
it. It lost to Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Ah! My op.
Um,
That's so unfair. That's so unfair. That's so unfair. No, that's just wrong. That's wrong.
that
Sorry,
is
that made me more mad than it should. But that's so wrong. You're telling me that a surface level album like Rumors that was about like their drama and their four-way relationship that they were having beat out Hotel California?
well, it sure seems that way. And
Well,
if you wanna know why, you maybe go listen to Charles's critique about the Grammy voting body from the Beatles episode. I guess that would have been part
yeah,
two. But it
that's
had
crazy.
it had three I thought you would like that. Three
Oh,
singles released. So Hotel California and New Kid in the Town both reached number one, and Life in the Fast Lane was the third single, and it reached number 11. Um, and a couple funny things that I found. The Last Resort, now that you like it, you'll appreciate this. They had to re-record it a few times because they kept getting sound bleed through in the studio walls because next door to them had the volume like cranked up so high it was Black Sabbath. So Ozzy
that-
was next door, it sounds like, and had the music cranked so loud that it was bleeding through the walls into, the Last Resort. So,
that's
like,
funny.
could you just imagine like the Last Resort, and if you turn it up real loud, had they not re-recorded it, hear real faintly in their Black Sabbath going, that would be awesome. Um,
Oh, boy!
well, that's not Black Sabbath, but I it's close enough. So,
It's Ozzy Osbourne, isn't it?
yeah, that's Ozzy Osbourne, but
That's what I was
that's yeah,
referencing.
yeah, true.
You
And
said Ozzy
so
Osbourne,
yeah, yeah,
so I was saying Ozzy Osbourne.
yeah. The founding members of this one I found interesting just because I know Linda Ronstadt, but the founding members were all recruited by her to be band members.
Hmm,
And they played with her on her third studio album before they went out on their own.
interesting.
Um, and I can't remember who the founding members were. This album introduced Joe Walsh, but Glenn Frey, Don Henley, like they all play instruments as well. Um, and so they were hired on as band members. The Eagles, they broke up in 1980, got back together in 1994. They've done some things since, but nothing nothing like their run in the 70s. Um,
No. I'll
so
also say you should probably listen to this album because if you claim to like music and haven't listened to Hotel California, you're gonna get shunned a little bit.
true.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
At least at least the song Hotel California.
Right.
If you
That,
haven't listened to
right.
the album is something different, but that
Right.
song, if you haven't listened to it and don't have an opinion on it,
Right.
you might be shunned a little bit.
Correct. And like
So,
just keep going. Like
yeah.
first song. So just let New Kid in Town like let it go and you'll go, okay, that's a good song. Life in the Fast
Yeah,
Lane, like
too.
you may not like it, but that is one
I
of their
still liked
more,
it.
yeah, that is more one of their, it's more one of their rock and roll songs. And
Yeah.
again, I'm telling you that that's unfair. It's one of your least favorites. That doesn't mean that you don't like it.
Um,
So
but also Last Resort is another one that you have to listen to in order to not be shunned. Um, by me at least. So just go to listen to the first and you might as well stick around
yeah,
instead of just skipping because now
yeah.
you're not going to get the point as much.
And again,
So,
we have helped you out because sometimes like this album only has 9 songs. And so oftentimes Riley would give you two favorites. I would give you two. Well, we combined it. So
yeah,
just give our three favorite songs a listen, if nothing else.
even yeah.
Um,
So, and don't be
and
scared. And don't be scared that The Last Resort is almost an 8-minute song.
true,
Don't let that scare you.
true.
Lyrics are good enough.
Yes, yeah, they are. And then
Lyrics are good enough, I promise.
in addition to our favorite songs, they should also listen to the best beat and bar from the album. So,
Yes, you want to start with your
Riley,
best. Oh, I'm starting with
you
my
want to
best.
start? I can start. We can
You
switch
start.
things up here.
We'll switch things up. We'll be exciting.
Ooh, so, I've already mentioned the Wasted Time reprise, and so, that's a minute 23, which again, that's one that's worth a listen.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and what my best beat is actually you're listening to that and to get the full effect of this, listen to the minute and 23 of the Wasted Time reprise and then just let it flow into Victim of Love because that is a
Mm.
massive shift from this beautiful flowing orchestra to guitar dirty, heavy, distorted right in your face. And it starts that way. And it is you mentioned Life in the Fast Lane. That opening of Victim in Love, a Victim of Love is a really good guitar lick for about 20 seconds. And then, so that transition is really the best beat I've got, just going from orchestra to that hard hitting guitar solo. And if you like guitars, since you're already started listening to Victim of Love, we'll add this to our list. Keep going because um, around 244, there's a guitar solo in it that is really nice. And it's another one of those that I guess it sounds like a slide in with a bend on the string to make it give it a wobbling sound, but and then he plays the solo. So um, really the coming out of that orchestral string section of Wasted Time Reprise into the intro of Victim of Love is what I thought was the best beat. So Riley, what's your favorite lyric? Are you gonna just quote the entirety of Last Resort?
No, I just have more than one because it's a very lyric heavy album. So one of my favorite lyrics is actually so okay. I'm not mentioning any from Hotel California. It's hard to pick one out from Hotel California without it being included in the rest of the song. That is why. Every lyric in Hotel California, it kind of needs to be in place with the other lyrics. So that is one that like I can't pick out a lyric without being like the whole context of the song. Other songs, it's easier to pick out specific lyrics because it's smaller sections. Don't hate on me. I have a reason. So,
Okay,
my first favorite lyric actually does come from time. It comes right after one of yours that you mentioned.
hold on.
Sometimes to keep it together, you gotta leave it alone.
Comes from
And then
where?
after
Hold on. You're
wasted
going
time.
slow. Your internet is
Oh,
going slow. So it comes from wasted time.
yes, it comes from wasted time.
All right.
Shortly after the lyric you mentioned.
Okay.
Um, so it's the sometimes to keep it together, you gotta leave it alone. That was yours. Right after that, it goes, so you can get on with your search, baby, and I can get on with mine, and maybe someday we'll find that it wasn't really wasted time. And oh, that is a beautiful way to end that song.
Yeah.
I'll try not to ramble too much. The whole song kind of seems like they're referring to this relationship as wasted time, that now they have to find a new thing and start over, and what was it even for? And then it ends with maybe as we move on, we'll discover there was a purpose, even in the loss.
Right.
And people don't think about relationships like that enough. Um, like losing a relationship, any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic, any of that sucks and is painful and that is very real, but like you learn something from it, and that does not mean that it's wasted time.
Yeah.
And I don't think people talk about that enough.
Yeah. And it's
It's
funny because in, professionally doing, coming up through programming, I learned so much through failure
Yep,
of something not working. But I spent a lot of time when something failed, spent a lot of time looking at it. Whereas in relationships, they're failures, like it sounds like this one was, oftentimes you do whatever you can just to move on to the next thing. You don't look at,
yes,
you don't have any retrospection to say, okay, it failed, but surely it wasn't wasted time. How do I, because you can't control the other person, but what do I need to do to make myself better for the next
yes.
relationship?
And I don't think that's talked about enough. I think that just is a really beautiful sentiment and
Yeah,
should be
that's a
focused
really
on
good
more
line.
because it's so important. And nowadays, that's just not how people think about breakups. They think of it as like wasted time.
Yeah.
What was the point? Anyway, so love that. The next two are from Last Resort. Um, so it's two different parts of the song. So it's where they destroy the land, and then so the first one I have is from where they destroy the land. It's some rich man came and raped the land. Nobody caught him. Put up a bunch of ugly boxes, and Jesus people bought him, and they called it paradise. Like that is such a visual and like it provides such a visual and is harsh to hear. It's not a warm, fuzzy feeling. And it
Yeah.
kind of makes you see what it really is rather than the idealized. He's giving the unique perspective of looking outside of the paradise rather than being a part of it. So instead of being like, oh, there were pretty houses and beautiful sunsets, it turns into a hazy sun sinking and ugly boxes and people bottom. Like it shows that what he's viewing it as versus what the people are viewing it as very well. And then the other one um, was after they destroyed it and they're in the midst of it, is we satisfy our endling needs and justify our bloody deeds in the name of destiny and in the name of God. And you see them there on Sunday morning and stand up and sing about what it's like up there. They call it paradise. And that is um the first two lyrics really draw you in, just because it calls us out a lot, and I do like, and it's not ignored by me at least, that right there he says we and our, um, and then it switches to a them. he's including himself in the satisfying endless needs, justifying bloody deeds. Like he's recognizing that he's a part of that. And then you see that he's purposefully doing that when he does separate himself from people worshiping and people calling it paradise and everything like that. So that's very particular, paying close attention to that, and I love that. Um, and then it is kind of a that's where you see some of the hypocrisy coming in of people calling on this new place that's going to be paradise on Sunday mornings and singing about it when they've destroyed every paradise that they've had thus far. So it's
Yeah.
like a little bit of hypocrisy of like, you call everything paradise and then destroy it. So
Yeah.
what's new about this
Yeah.
paradise? Um,
And
and
you see him get to that point in the last two lines, like you call it
yes.
paradise, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah. So just, I mean, I listed a lot of lyrics, so it's hard not to list the whole song just because it's an incredible song.
Yeah.
But those two were just the most visceral and clear of what the song meant, and
Yeah.
interesting in including himself and then discluding himself and where
Yeah.
he puts himself and where he recognizes he's different. And it's just really interesting to me to
Yeah.
pay attention to stuff like that. So.
I agree. Um, all right. So now, so look at there. We only added one new song with our best beat and bar. So maybe now you're only up to four songs that we're asking you to listen to. You can throw in the other five.
As well listen to
And
what our least favorite songs are too, just to see if we're right. And
yeah, well, that's true.
so then you're up to
Um, so let's see, ratings, Riley. What did you rate Hotel California by the Eagles?
um I I usually go with the personal rating like based on feel after talking about it because I really what happens, I'm gonna tangent. What happens a lot doing these podcasts are that I realize how much I really liked an album or how much I disliked it based on how I talk about it. And I don't really talk about these albums beforehand with anyone. So, I usually wait to do like a personal rating until I'm done talking about it. So sometimes if I ever think that's why, um, so I think I'm going with a 9 for personal rating and a 9.5 for objective.
Okay.
I think it's a near perfect album. I think the only things that take away from it, and if it could be like a 9.9, it would be, but we're going off of really like point 0.5, whatever. So just know in my heart where it's at. But it it has a few parts where the message becomes more normal or like it's a very unconventional album. Some of the songs are very conventional and it kind of takes you out of it and feels like a filler song. Um, not like filler song, but you know what I mean. And then also some of the parts, the juxtaposition in the soft to the loud is interesting, but I think can distract you from the song. And when they're very lyric heavy songs, I think that can sometimes damage it just a smidge, just for a second. It's very
Yeah.
interesting and it pulls you back in, but it takes away from the really interesting part of this album in the lyrics.
Yeah. You said loud soft loud. The it was funny. I think it was church this Sunday. During the band was playing and they were doing loud soft whatever song it was loud soft loud. So I leaned over to mommy and said, "Loud soft loud." She laughed
Nirvana.
because now she understands what that is. So then this is potentially a boring podcast for people because my ratings are exactly the same. Um,
That's funny.
I'm
Look at
not,
us go.
yeah, I'm not sure I'd have to look if we've had the exact same both, just yet. Um, but yeah, my Like I really, the first time listening through this one, I do remember having the greatest hits album. I don't remember if I ever had this one or not. Um, but as I was going through, I was like, yep, know that, know that one, know that one. So it's like, wow, this is a really good album. And I enjoyed it. And then obviously objectively, like we've talked about it, you sell that many albums, you've done something very well. And whatever that is, whether it's a concept album that, you know, is about uh, what Don Henley thinks is the state of the world or whatever at the moment, it's crazy because, like you said, when you go that route, you see it, and to me, a good concept album is one that the concept when it was and we hit this say with Pink Floyd that was Dark Side of the Moon that was more musically of a concept album, but even Marvin Gaye's album, um, those lyrics and concepts that they were writing about, they're still true today. That to me
Yeah.
is what makes a really good concept album, that it holds true, um, you know, 76, 50, almost 50 years later. So that's impressive. Well done, Eagles. All right. Um, Song of the week.
Song of the week.
Song of the week. What's your song of the week, Riley?
So, it is worth noting that I did happen to just on a whim re-listen to the entire Arcade Fire album. So, partially that, just driving back from Nashville, that became my album. It's a good one. I still get chills in almost every song. But my actual song of the week is very different than that. It's Beautiful Disaster by 311. Um,
Okay.
I really like this song. Um, I also think that part of what this song stood out for me was the use of, they do a little bit of like the reggae rock in there's a little bit, like it gets a little funky a
Yeah.
little bit. And it's just a very fun album. They also talk a little, Beautiful Disaster does have a little bit of commentary in it. But in classic 311 style, it's not very serious. They're just talking about people doing drugs to escape and then saying that they would do that if it didn't make them feel bad. So not too much of a commentary, but hey,
Yeah. I mean,
talking about some of the current problems.
that's an old one.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
it's back in my
love
my
much.
college days.
Yeah, I don't love a lot of 311. I
Yeah.
do enjoy them, but Disaster is one that I do very much enjoy.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Um, so I just to go back a week to Charles's song of the week, I did go listen to Phone by Lizzo, and it is not at all who Charles is. So Charles, listen to that.
It's
That's pretty funny. I
it's
mean, it's probably
now you might be
it's
able to
probably
see
it's
why I
probably
was
not
laughing
what
so
it's
hard.
probably not what you think I would listen to either. But I mean, it's a funny song. I get
Yeah.
like it's pretty funny. But anyway, that's not my song of the week. My song of the week is and you'll know it. Song Two by Blur.
Dude, I just had that pulled up.
Did you, dude?
No,
Dude.
no, I legitimately.
Oh,
You think
also,
we make this up? We don't. We don't. That was almost my song of the week. I was trying
dude,
to.
dude. So just there's obviously a generational gap here, being a father-daughter, and so every once in a while, I will sometimes unknowingly, but oftentimes intentionally, use the lingo in a wrong way. So one of the ones that I've been using intentionally wrong just to make her laugh is 6-7. So we were
Oh,
no, but this is funny because I thought of you. We were going through Southern Vintage Sunday maybe. I guess so, yesterday. And one of the booths had a shelf that they called the 6-7 shelf. So everything was $6 or $7. I was like, that's
that's
funny.
funny. That's funny. That's
That made, that
also my
made, that made me
nightmare.
think of you. But
For anyone that's wondering why why my nightmare, I work in a nursery and I volunteer with elementary school kids. It's all I hear. It's all I hear. And then I'll be like, guys, stop. And they'll be like, you don't even know what it means. You don't get it. And I'm like, it means nothing. Neither do you.
it's
Don't mess with me. And then I get
so
it from my dad on the other side.
yeah. So Blur song two. And again, it's maybe most well known for the woohoo at the beginning. They say woohoo throughout, but really
Woohoo!
starts with a pretty good but and then the woohoo. So second song on their self-titled album. Song two was the working title, much like we mentioned. What was it for Hotel California? Mexican reggae.
Mexican reggae.
But song two just stuck, so they left it that way. The song is 2 minutes and 1 second long. Somewhere I've seen where it was maybe supposed to be 2 minutes and 2 seconds long, but also has two verses and two choruses. So kind of all fits together
Also,
with the two. So
is a song that everyone mumble sings because they know how it goes, but they don't know the lyrics.
yeah,
And the opening lyric is I got my head checked by a trombone check. It
huh?
wasn't easy,
By
but
a
not
by a jumbo jet,
trombone something.
by a jumbo
Jumbo
jet.
jet. Okay. It wasn't easy, but nothing is.
Yeah,
Proof that I also mumble sing.
right.
Um, that's incredible.
Yeah. So again,
So
back to the 90s. So we are both of our songs of the week are fairly old.
there we go.
Woo-hoo, as Blur might say. So next album.
Next album is oh, I had it and then I forgot it.
Oh,
Imagine by John Lennon.
oh, Imagine by John Lennon. That one almost should be disqualified because
Listen to the Beatles.
we the Beatles is on there, but and
We are
our
listening.
little poster doesn't have any repeat bands, but technically they're a
I don't-
different band, but might might as well be the
For all
Beatles.
the people my age, just know we're listening to the actual Imagine, not the celebrity mix-up of Imagine, where everyone is off key and it did nothing to help anyone. But we are the original. We will try to not let that one impact our views on the song, though it's hard.
Yeah. So John Lennon, 1971, Imagine.
Ooh.
Yeah, this one is older than I am. Not by much, but it is. So in the meantime, go listen to some of our songs. Give Hotel California a listen. You can also find us on social medias, Instagram, although we don't post that much.
Listen, we're getting
Um,
back in it. We're
we're
about to
getting
get
back
back in
in
it.
it.
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, so Instagram, um, Facebook, X, and YouTube, where we're posting our videos. And so you can go watch us. We've also got a playlist
Put a face to the
on
name.
Spotify as well that we need to go update that one as well. So I guess until next time, I'm Todd.
I'm Riley, and this has been another episode of Bourbon Cuts.
Squirrel.